Hi everyone, for tonight's Nightcap and review, I'm having an adult beverage, and tonight I'll be discussing Kingdom of Forgotten Curses by A.R. Kaufer. This is a book I purchased off of Kindle, but of course I'm giving my honest opinion. Unfortunately, I did have to DNF this book at 25%. If watching DNF videos are not your cup of tea, that is perfectly okay. Feel free to keep scrolling. I do believe all reviews are valid, and I would like to discuss my experience based on the portion of the book I did read. But remember, not every book is for every reader, and just because this wasn't the book for me doesn't mean it won't be the book for you, and it could be your next 5-star read, and I love that for you. So I encourage you to give this book a try if it sounds like something you're interested in. These are the tropes, and these are the content warnings. So what's this book about? So this book is about a bloodthirsty prince who, after a nightly revelry, is petitioned by a wounded female soldier asking for aid. She is refused constantly by the prince over and over until eventually she confronts the prince, revealing herself to be a fae, and curses him to live as a dampier or vampire for the next 100 years. And the only way to break this curse before it becomes permanent in that 100 years is for someone to fall in love with this beast of a man. It's been 80 years since the start of the curse, and the king's barrister, Marius, is now having to go to this kingdom that no one has seen or heard from, and no one's been paying their taxes. So he's been sent to investigate matters, leaving his 3 daughters behind. Upon leaving, he does ask them what they would like as gifts upon his return. When he gets to the mysterious kingdom, he is confronted by the prince, and actually they are able to amicably come to an agreement, and he leaves safely. That is until he makes a gravely mistake, a mistake that someone has to pay for. So what are my thoughts on this book? Again, I did DNF it at 25%. Now, I understand not every book and not every author's writing style is for every reader, and typically I would leave it at that. But I did want to go a little more in depth because with this author and this book, I was left wanting more, and not in a good way. What I mean by that is, first, there was no world building. Now, typically when you have a Beauty and the Beast book, and I will say this is a Beauty and the Beast Dracula retelling, it's not unusual for it to be in the French countryside in the 1800s. And when I started this book, that was fitting within those parameters. So I was like, okay, I don't need much world building. I've read this before. So I started reading the book, but then there were indicators that led me to believe there was more to this world than the typical standard Beauty and the Beast retelling. First, there was mention of portals in between kingdoms. I'm like, wait, when did the French countryside get portals? And then, yes, there's a witch or a fae who curses the beast, and there's that curse, and that's typically the last of the magical elements. But there was like mention of a fae civilization, or enough that they haven't been seen in 500 years that people were aware that they once existed. And also the dampier or vampire, the king's barrister meets him and is off put by his appearance, but knew what he was enough to be like, okay, but then carries on with business. So he's not shocked by this magical creature he just saw. It was like, oh, you're that. Okay, now where are my taxes? So it just seemed like there was more potential to this world to learn about it and become invested in it, and it's not your typical Beauty and the Beast retelling. So I just wanted more world building. Now, along with that, the plot of this book is very fast-paced, and that's mostly due to the writing style, which is mostly dialogue. There also isn't a lot in the way of build-up or descriptions for me to build an image in my head, to become invested in the characters or the scenes and what's going on. So for me, in the end, this just was not the book for me. Now, just because it wasn't the book for me doesn't mean it won't be a book for you. If the plot sounds like something you're interested in, I strongly encourage you to give it a try for yourself. It is currently available, so go give it a read, go give it a download, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope everyone has a good night and happy readings.